Kalyan. Neymar was handed a one-match ban after being sent off in PSG's explosive 2-2 draw at bitter rivals Marseille at the weekend. Okay, so the same sentence parts are put one after the other. So do you think there is an error? Where do you think the error is? Okay, most of you are coming back and saying part 3. Okay, let's address from the end. Okay, a lot of you are coming back and saying at the weekend. So if you have to change at the weekend, I'm guessing the other explanation that you guys have is on the weekend, right? These are the only two expressions. So just to highlight, both these expressions are used and both are correct, right? At the weekend is something that we follow, British English, okay? On the weekend is something, it's American English. That's the only difference. So grammatically, both are used and is correct. Okay, now coming back to at bitter rivals. I don't see any error actually in this context. I think it's fine. Okay, let's say for example, if I have to use with, I will say, so and so had a clash with bitter rivals Marshall. That's one way of actually saying it. You have a clash with somebody. But here it's saying he's being sent off in PSG's explosive 2-2 draw at bitter rivals Marseille. So here it's more about being specific of why he's been sent off. So I think at is fine, right? I don't have the word clash here in the context. So I don't see the point of changing at to with if you ask me. And some of you came back and said against. It's the same thing for against as well, I feel. What do you guys say? I actually don't think there is an error because either way the meaning is fine. I will go with, in fact, no error. Right, and because it's not about punctuations or whatever, this one match which is hyphenated also, I think it's okay. But usually the collocations that I'm familiar with is without the hyphen, one match process or one match program. Right, it doesn't come with a hyphen. And again, if you ask me, hyphen is very outdated. It's very outdated, and it's almost becoming obsolete. So I don't think I will pay attention to that hyphen there. Though I'm familiar with collocations without the hyphen, right? I'm just writing some collocations for you. That's about it. I will probably say no error for that question, actually. I don't see an issue there. If it was saying, he had a clash with, then I'll go with the preposition with. But here it's just saying he's being sent off in PSG's explosive 2-2 draw at bitter rivals Marseille at the weekend. It seems fine to me. Kalpana. What's Kalpana's question? Identify the error in the sentences given below. If there is no error, click option E. Okay, so this is where the question starts. The need to set up. Part 1, a good library in the locality. Part 2, has been in the minds of people. Part 3, for some time now. Part 4. Okay, so what is Kalpana's query? Ma'am, I think it's already being specific in the minds of people. Why should we mention again the before people? Should it be as in the minds of the people? Yeah, I mean, don't you think so, Kalpana? See, for me, one of the other things that I keep saying is, I keep asking questions, right? So this thought has been in whose minds? It has been in the minds of the people, right? So you have to be specific. The need has been in whose minds. If I ask that question, to answer that question specifically, I need the definite article the before people, no doubt about it. So yes, has been in the minds of the people. I will need that. The error would be in part D. Yes. Second question. As per Dr. Verma, there is a little hope of his recovery now. Okay. So Kalpana says, I hope the sentence can be considered positive as well as in negative way, depending upon how the reader thinks. If it is considered in positive way, the article a should be there. If it is considered in negative way, a should be removed. How do we determine it? Good question. Right, I would say this is an example again of a poorly framed question. Why? Because we all know that when somebody says there is a little hope with the definite article coming, the meaning is at least there is some hope. Not like there is absolutely no hope, but there is some hope, right? As per Dr. Verma, there is a little hope, meaning there is some hope. But if I say as per Dr. Verma, there is little hope. Meaning what? Not much. Right? So like you very correctly specified, Kalpana, I will agree that you can either say, boss, there is no error, or you can say, yeah, there is an error in part C and you can remove the definite article, but then it depends on how you want to look at it, right? So if you say, I'm looking at it as a positive meaning, boss, then I will say, a little hope is fine as it is. But if I'm saying, no, Dr. Verma is actually being negative about it, then I'll say, okay, error in part C, change, delete the indefinite article, make that change. So for me, this question is first of all an incorrect. Like you can't, it's not a complete question, right? It's not a complete question, meaning it has more than one option, which means I will skip this question. Why? Because this is why. It depends on the meaning, and both are grammatically they are correct, right? But meaningfully we can't assume that the doctor is saying he means positively or he means negatively. Is a judgment that we cannot make. So obviously you will have to skip this question. Yeah. So as it is also correct. Without that it gives me a different meaning. That's about it. So how do we determine it? Ta-da! Skip. See, we understand that a little means some positive meaning. Only little means not much, hardly any, negative. So we understand, we are able to understand the difference in meaning of those two. But we can't say that Dr. Verma is, this is what he means in the context. He means positive meaning. So I will leave it as it is. Or I can't say, no, Dr. Verma means negatively, so I will delete the indefinite article. I can't make that judgment, right? So obviously, the error will either be in C, if you think of it as a negative meaning context. If not, you will say everything is fine as it is, big deal. Dr. Verma is being positive in this context, and you will say no error. So why take that risk? I will skip this. Yeah. Next question also is Kalpana's. Okay, the transformers will not be replaced if they burn down due to overloaded. I think I answered this question. Sounds like a, what is her query? I think the error is in part 1 as well as part 4. Second conditional, if they burn down due to overload, the transformers would not be replaced. Is this structure correct, ma'am? Huh? Correct, no? Like this is to do with first conditional, second conditional, right? Yeah. So if they burned, past tense, if you have past tense in the first clause, then the following clause should have would. Correct. This one is having will, which means it should be burn. So let's write both the contexts here. Okay. So if I say, see, the obvious error is in part 4. It's not overloaded, right? It's overload. That we understand, all of us. Let's put both the contexts here. Second conditional. If it's second conditional, क्या है? If they burned down due to overload, the transformers would not be replaced. Yes? Yes. If it's a first conditional is what? Present tense. If they burn down due to overload, the transformers will not be replaced. That's it. है ना? So if this is the logic that we are going by, then yes, Kalpana, if only burn is there, then you have to put will. But because burn down is there, yes, you might have to change this to would, which in that case means that the error will be in both part 1 and part 4. Yes. Yeah. Is this structure correct? Correct. Because that's a second conditional. Okay. Chalo. So again, in a question like this, but there is more than one part that has the error, I will skip it. Sooner had he come, his colleagues organized a get-together. Can we consider this statement as second conditional and say the error is in part C? If he had come sooner, his colleagues would have organized a get-together. Not sooner had he come. My entire thing will be for this question, right? If I am sticking to saying, okay, the error is in part A alone, for example, if I say the error, let me just clear this, okay? Let's look at the second question. Okay, so if I'm saying the error is in part A, the easiest thing for me to do is just say as soon as he came. है ना? As soon as he came, his colleagues organized a get together. Khatam. Part A is where the error is. Change sooner had he come. Or another way to look at it is, if he had come sooner, not sooner had he come, either you say had he come sooner, right? That makes sense. Or you say no sooner had he come, right? That's another way to say it, right? No sooner had he come, then his colleagues organized a get together is also another way to look at this context, right? Which means that we have to change everything. More than one part can have an error. So, not happening. Had he come sooner, hai na? No sooner had he come. So, yes. No sooner he came, then he started creating trouble. No sooner had he come, then he started. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've come across constructions both ways. No sooner did something happen, then something happened. No sooner had, yeah, both are valid, right? So, given this context, I wouldn't want you to consider it as a second conditional. I'd rather say the easier thing for you to do is just say, boss, the error is in part A, and change the first thing to saying as soon as he came, his colleagues organized a get together. That will make more sense. Yeah? There are different ways in which we can rewrite the construction, which is what we did here. That's a different thing.